Hi.
Hello again. It's been a while. We did 4 episodes on Babylon about a year ago,
Yeah.
and we kept saying we're going to get back to it because we never finished chapter 18
Yeah.
of Revelation, so let's do it.
Yeah.
And we left off by getting to verse 10 in chapter 18 of Revelation, where it says, "They will stand far off in fear of her torment and say, Alas, alas, you great city, you mighty city Babylon. In a single hour your judgment has come." And we made the point that 6 times Babylon the Great is mentioned in the book of Revelation. 6. That's probably significant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the fifth, the one we just read, verse 10.
Another one
There's
coming.
another one to come.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we read
I'll read 11 to
11 to 18,
18.
and then I'll pick it up at the end.
Okay. And the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, for no one buys their merchandise any more. Merchandise of gold and silver, precious stones and pearls, fine linen and purple, silk and scarlet, every kind of citron wood, every kind of object of ivory, every kind of object of most precious wood, bronze, iron, and marble, and cinnamon and incense, fragrant oil and frankincense, wine and oil, fine flour and wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and chariots, and the bodies and souls of men. The fruit that your soul longed for has gone from you, and all the things which are rich and splendid have gone from you, and ye shall find them no more at all. The merchants of these things who became rich by her will stand at a distance for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and silver stones and pearls. For in 1 hour such great riches came to nothing. Every shipmaster, all who travel by ship, sailors, and as many as trade on the sea, stood at a distance, and cried out when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What is like this great city?
And they threw dust on their heads as they wept and mourned, crying out, Alas, alas, for the great city, where all who had ships at sea grew rich by her wealth. For in a single hour she has been laid waste. Rejoice over her, O heaven, and you saints and apostles and prophets, for God has given judgment for you against her. Then a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and threw it into the sea, saying, So will Babylon, the great city, be thrown down with violence, and will be found no more. And the sound of harpists and musicians, of flute players and trumpeters will be heard in you no more. And a craftsman of any craft will be found in you no more. And the sound of the mill will be heard in you no more. And the light of a lamp will shine in you no more. And the voice of bridegroom and bride will be heard in you no more. For your merchants were the great ones of the earth, and all nations were deceived by your sorcery. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints, and of all who have been slain on earth. So, of course, for us, trained as we are in the Watchtower world, you hear the phrase world empire of false religion.
Every time you hear Babylon, you think that.
You do. And yet we made the point in the prior videos that, well, all the info you have so far and the other 5 references are to a city that is built on 7 hills, which also sits on many waters. And here you have an amplification of that point. What does it mean that she sits on many waters? Well, she's not only the greatest city in the world, she's also the only empire, really, at that time, which means she controls the seas and merchandise.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Merchandise. So the economy is often based on waters, right?
Yeah.
Travel passages.
Very plain from this passage.
Yeah. So you definitely get the impression here that we're talking about economics all the time, which is more like a city or an empire.
So her power is in her vast wealth, and the fact that she's a whore, she gets the favors of everybody else by offering wealth to them, sharing her wealth with them, sharing herself with them. You can become a Roman citizen, and that for the world of people who lived outside of Italy in those days. The greatest privilege and the greatest freedom you had was to be a Roman citizen.
She's got power in her hands because she can control the merchants. So she doesn't produce, but she does buy and sell.
That's right. She's not productive.
But
That reminds you of modern empires.
She's got the control of the economy.
Yeah. And the last point that's made in verse 13, added almost as if an afterthought, but really the climax of her wealth, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Her possession, the one that makes it all possible, is slaves.
Yeah.
Who are called human souls here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that we should pay attention to, that it is estimated that if there were 100 million people in the Roman Empire in those days, maybe even half of them were slaves.
Wow.
So let's think about that. The empire runs on the misery of human beings who are captives, military captives.
And that's why judgment is coming. Judgment because she's been oppressive and greedy and murderous.
And this destruction is coming at the very end. This is in the seventh bowl within the seventh trumpet. So the very end of, and preceding the Lord's coming, of course, in chapter 19. But what is she called here? Is she ever called anything to do with religion?
No, it's always a great city. So in the part that we just read, there was at least 4 references to city.
Verse 16.
But the Watchtower keeps saying religion. But it doesn't say religion once in here.
That's right. A tribute to the influence of their mind control propaganda techniques, which is you automatically, as you said before, make that connection, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Despite the fact that 4 times here in verse 16, alas, alas, the great city.
And it's all about merchants and riches and power.
Verse 18 twice, what city was like the great city? And again 19, alas, alas, for the great city. And then finally in verse 21, where Babylon is named for the last time in Revelation, the 6th time, so will Babylon, the great city, be thrown down.
And it says in 1 hour the city will be destroyed. And that is possible.
We know that's
possible. A city being
possible.
destroyed in an hour. But religion, all the religions of the world, because the witnesses include everybody,
yeah,
can they be destroyed in an hour?
No.
Yeah.
This we know very well. The power is now in our hands to destroy not only a city in 1 hour, but the entire world in 1 day. All the people on the planet, perhaps, if not all the life on the planet. But verse 20 is also a dead giveaway as to who she is in those days. Who was guilty for the blood of saints and apostles and prophets?
Well, Rome was, yeah.
So there's really only 2 cities at that point that had a track record of persecution of the saints. Jerusalem, where James and 2 Jameses died, right? James, the brother of the Lord, and James, the brother of John, and perhaps more. But now Rome, where in the 30 years before Revelation is written, both Peter and Paul and many, many hundreds of more Christians had been martyred in the persecution of Nero, and now it was happening again. Domitian, the Roman emperor, was now persecuting the church again. That's why John is on Patmos as he writes this. So there's a dead giveaway in terms of the identification that everybody would make back then when they read or heard this in community, right? Who is guilty for the blood of the saints? Jerusalem's already been destroyed, but Rome hasn't.
Yeah.
But at the end it will be, it says. The only thing that indicates some kind of religious attraction is verse 23. All nations were deceived by your sorcery. But when you realize that that's built into the metaphor of the hooer who has the cup in her hand back in 17, right? She offers this drug which helps her seduce all the nations. The drug is, of course, the sharing of her privilege and wealth.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if that doesn't work, she has the power of the boot. So she's seen as a hooer. The female aspect is this woman is a hooer, but the male aspect is, well, he's not even a human. At its worst, Rome is a beast and uses the power of a beast to tear and to crush.
And what thing is it in this world that deceives more people, I think, and sucks them in, but wealth?
Yeah.
Money, love of money. It's very seductive.
Yeah. What did the Lord say about that? You cannot serve God and mammon.
Mm.
But the power of Rome, and the power of empire in all ages, is to share in gain, right?
Right.
We're going to do another video. There's another 6 references, surprise, surprise, in the New Testament about Babylon. So it's good to look at those to kind of get the whole picture of what the New Testament says as to who Babylon is. So we'll do that in the future video.
And we're going to link to a video that was called How I Got.
How I Got Revelation?
Yeah. So that's about me, and it's featuring Gorman's book, Michael Gorman's.
So you actually like Revelation now?
Well, I don't know if I'd say like it.
You like it better?
I understand it a little better now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I guess the playlist, so if you want to go back and see the context of this one.
Yeah, the Revelation playlist. So we'll put that on your screen as well.
Good. All right.
See you next time.
Bye.